Alright, so we just got some pretty huge news about the upcoming LEGO Pokemon theme. This comes from the mostly reliable LEGO Leak subreddit, and I honestly see no reason to doubt this leak. So let's get into it. There are going to be 3 sets coming out on March 1st or February 27th for LEGO Insiders. If you aren't aware, LEGO Insiders is free to join, anyone can join it. So previously we knew about a $60 set and a $200 one, but now there's also going to be a Pokemon gift with purchase for those that buy the sets around the release date, probably within like a week or maybe 15 days. And to my genuine shock, LEGO is going to be releasing a $650 set with almost 7,000 pieces included. I have no idea what direction they're going to be going with these sets, so I thought it'd be fun to speculate a little bit about what these sets could be, based on what LEGO has kind of done in the past with similar themes, starting first with the big set. It's pretty obvious that these are going to be targeted at adult collectors, so that means we are likely going to be seeing a bunch of Kanto stuff. This is what I'm most confident on speculating over. I would be shocked if any of these sets weren't heavily focused on Gen 1 nostalgia, especially considering the ludicrous price of some of these sets. It would just be so risky from the Pokemon Company and LEGO's perspective to make sets for fans of later generations. I would honestly be surprised to see anything past like Gen 3. So that begs the question, what on earth is this set gonna be? Well, let's take a look at some examples of similarly priced sets being sold on LEGO.com right now. Sorting by highest price, we can find some pretty good examples of what LEGO generally makes for this expensive of a set. Most of them will either be vehicles from popular media like Star Wars, or they'll be buildings like the Avengers Tower, Barad-dûr, and this set of British shops. Very rarely will you find a buildable creature at this high of a price range. So I'm personally writing off something like a huge Charizard or Mewtwo build. I've seen a few people online speculating about that, but I just don't see it happening personally, at least for this set. I could absolutely see them doing that for the $200 set, but I'll get to that a little later on in the video. The closest example I can think of to something even remotely similar to that, at a similar price range, was the LEGO Hulkbuster. It was a pretty major flop that fans of LEGO absolutely hated upon its release. Again, the vast majority of these expensive direct-to-consumer LEGO sets are based on buildings, castles, and other kind of landscapes. More recently though, we've seen a new kind of massive LEGO set, and that's the diorama. Generally, these are intended as an art piece to either hang on a wall or sit on a shelf. Some decent examples of these are the Batman Animated Series 1 and the Batcave Shadow Box. They are both pretty nice looking sets, but they're also a lot less expensive than this upcoming Pokemon one. So that brings us to the leaked LEGO Death Star diorama that's going to retail for $1,000. This set, in my opinion, looks extremely nice. I think the diorama looks great. But again, this is something that LEGO is super new to, and I just don't think they've perfected this kind of set for the kind of price that they're asking for it. They just seem too expensive for what you're getting, and they have been extremely divisive in the greater LEGO community. The online reaction to the Death Star one has been extremely mixed. So while I could see LEGO doing a diorama of like the Pokemon Kanto world with different gyms, Pokemon, and trainers depicted in both brick and minifig form, it seems like it would just be a really risky and hard to pull off set. My personal speculation on what I think the set's gonna be is like a bunch of small to medium-sized builds of the entire Kanto Pokedex. Getting all 151 Kanto Pokemon made out of bricks seems like such a fun idea for a set, and something very different to what most 18+ LEGO sets usually look like. I could also see them throwing in some minifigs of popular characters from the games like Red, Blue, Professor Oak, Nurse Joy, and then maybe even some members of the Elite Four and some gym leaders, though that does seem like more of a stretch than anything, as LEGO has been pretty hesitant to make minifigs for the Mario theme, and I could see them doing something similar with Pokemon. I would hate that, but it's something I could see LEGO doing. Anyways, next I want to talk about the gift with purchase before we move on to the other retail sets. It will most likely be exclusive to those buying the flagship $650 set around the release date. And considering the pretty small size of most, if not all, GWPs, I think it could be one of two things. Either we're gonna get a life-size Pokeball that you could like fit in your hands, or a Pokedex. They both seem like really obvious choices for a gift with purchase, and no matter what the $650 set ends up being, I think that those two would go great with it. Honestly, I am pretty confident that that's what they're gonna do considering the size of GWPs, so again, it'll be shocking if it's something other than those two. Next, let's talk about the $200 set. As I mentioned earlier, and many others have speculated online, I think that the $200 set is going to be either a large buildable Charizard, or maybe all 3 fully evolved starters. Personally, out of the two, I would like to have all 3 starters as a set, but with Charizard's immense popularity, I mean, he's more likely to get it, I think. I could also see them doing maybe a larger scale Pikachu at this range, but I think that's going to be the $60 set. Another decent pick for the $200 option I think could be like a modular building of some kind, maybe like a Brock's Gym or a Pokemon Center, but that just seems like, I don't know, it just feels like that would be way less popular than like a buildable character or buildable creature. So I don't personally see it happening, but I wouldn't completely cross it out as a possibility. And then last but not least, we have the $60 set. This one is almost assuredly going to be Pikachu. The only other thing I could see them even possibly doing for the $60 set is to include both Pikachu and Eevee, as they're both kind of like dual franchise mascots, but I mean, I would bet money on Pikachu being the main star of this set, one way or the other. And that's pretty much all I've got for you. Please go check out brickerbuilds, as they make some absolutely killer Pokemon display sets, and I've been using some of their sets as references for this video. So if you can't wait till March for the official Pokemon sets, go see what they have to offer. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And that's pretty much all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this kind of like very rambly speculation vid. If you can't tell, I am stupidly excited for this theme, and I can't wait to see what these sets look like. Thanks for watching.